So that's the poster for the documentary, so if you want to have a good look at it.
Oh my god, society doesn't reflect perfection.
Shall I just read it then? Okay. So we've had some concerns with the tagline and what it actually means, but what does it mean to you? Do you understand it?
I understand it. Do you mean the tagline is in society does not reflect perfection? Yeah. I think that's a very good little tagline. I think that's been in the media up recently, has it not? With all these Instagrammers having perfect bodies, is that not a thing?
Yeah, I think.
And actually, it's not going against that, maybe.
Yeah, it makes more sense to me now. I didn't really understand it at first.
Okay.
I don't understand it.
You don't understand it?
No. Well, I think the media doesn't portray perfection. Oh no, the media does portray perfection.
Yeah, the media does.
So it's the idea of society. I thought the media reflected society, not society. I think it's the word reflect.
Society's quite a big. If it was media does not reflect perfection, that makes sense. But society doesn't reflect perfection in general. So is it like a sentence then you're just making a point that society does not reflect perfection? Is that just a group of 1,000 people, no one's perfect? Is that the aim of it?
Yeah, what we
That
meant
makes
was.
more sense.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What we meant was, so society is in like the pressures in society and the way that people are portrayed in society, that isn't necessarily perfect. That isn't what
That's
everyone...
what I first got from it.
Yeah, I understood it straight away,
Yeah.
but maybe that. I don't want to be rude. Maybe that's because I'm a bit younger.
That's what I got straight away.
Yeah, because and the reason why we chose the word reflect was because it's like linked to the title, which is like a mirror. So it
I
creates a
think
link
that's
between
good.
the two.
Got that. I thought that was very good. See, I think
It's quite dramatic.
yeah.
I love the photo.
I think our photo is very good.
That's the, so
Very
the
clever,
next
isn't it?
question is, so do you like the positioning of the focal image?
Yeah.
I love the
Yes.
photo. I think it's brilliant.
It's just one photo, but it's so simple,
Yeah.
but it means so much.
I think it's a very good photo. Nice and dark, big bright photo. Simple.
It stands out to be like dramatic and not. It wouldn't appeal to me as something like comedy, which is obviously what you want to appeal. It is something more intellectual and.
What do you think it means, the picture?
I think you're looking at sort of two sides that you're expected to be. The sort of side that's supposedly using lots of makeup and making yourself out to be something to fit in and conform. And maybe the other side's more natural, more you.
I'd agree with that. I think that's what it straight away.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
what
peeling
it's
back
to me.
what is expected of
Yeah.
you to be actually no, this is what I am underneath.
Do you think there's enough information on there about documentary?
I wouldn't have thought it was a documentary. It looked like a film to me. But
Yeah, I
don't
wouldn't have
know.
guessed it was a documentary.
I thought it might be a scary film. It might be a horror film.
Yeah.
I mean, she's peeling half her face back, so.
What information do you think we could have added? How do you think we could have changed it?
A documentary by.
Yeah, made it more clear.
Yeah,
that
like
it's
a lot of the
documentary.
Michael Moore things say a documentary, so it kind of tells you what it is.
Okay.
That's true. But then Louis Theroux never does anything, does he? That a documentary following. I think maybe because the title is so film. Like the words are very sort of like in your face. It's sort. I just thought it was a film.
Oh yeah.
I just thought like, whoa, it's a film. Okay, cool. And I think it looks great, but I don't know how you'd make it look more like a documentary.
Yeah, that's how I feel like. I don't feel like I've watched enough documentaries to comment on what
Oh,
one
yeah.
should look like to be advertised, because you don't really see them advertised.
I suppose they rely on household names, so everybody knows Louis Theroux, everybody knows Michael Moore, so you don't have to say. Whereas if it's a new person, then you don't know them, so you'd have to make it clear that this is a documentary.
So the first question, do you like the voices that we chose? Do you think it sounds nice?
Yeah, look very professional. I like the fact there was also a male voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the two male voices. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, this could be very wrong, but it sounded like you had people of different ages. I think
Yeah.
possibly the first man that spoke was an older gentleman.
Right.
I don't know, maybe because he was talking about younger
Younger
people,
people, yeah.
making it sound like he was an older person, and also a younger person who was speaking first, who was saying about booking jobs. So you would sort of maybe perceive that they were slightly younger. I thought that's good because that straight away I thought, well, that would relate to a younger environment if it's someone, you know. So.
And did you understand sort of roughly what it was about in the narrative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It
I
reflects
think
the poster very well, went
Yeah.
together really well.
If you heard the radio ad and then saw the poster, you'd go, yeah, 100% get it.
But
So not that it wasn't the other way around, but I think with that it was really, you could pick it from a lineup. If you had any posters, you would relate to which one it was.
although it did sound like a film again because it said being screened in cinemas.
Yes.
So
It is a short film and the genre is documentary, so that's...
It did seem like the documentary though, because of the way like loads of voices came in and the way they were talking. It's not as, you can tell that they're not acting; they are just speaking from. So that I think
Talk
to
about
me,
their experiences.
yeah, I think to me that sounded like it was.
That's very that's a documentary,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's always lots of people, lots of opinions, rather than just one. This is the film.
Any other questions? No. Any other thoughts about it?
Do you have
I like the music. Thought the
Yeah,
music
I like
gave
the
the right
Yeah.
atmosphere because you realised it was, like you were saying, from the heart, people's own experiences. And
yeah, it was quite emotional music.
Yeah,
Nice.
yes.
I was thinking, would I listen to this on Radio 4 driving home, and it would fit in. Because
Yeah.
they often do little snippets of little programmes you can listen to, and they might say, available on podcasts now. So that would suit that.
Okay.
Does it kind of make you interested in actually watching what?
Because I'm interested in that subject, so I
Yeah.
don't know if people weren't interested in that subject, whether they'd be interested, but if you are interested,
Yes.
that is intriguing, isn't it?
I
Yes.
think it appeals to a very wide range of people and a very vast audience.
I think it sort of affects everybody who can go on what I'd say social media, who live in the Western world, who have
Who feel the
these
pressures
things,
of
feel
how
the
they
pressure
look,
of
yeah.
everything. I think everybody does.
And the vulnerability, like, so people are recognising that in themselves.
What are your initial thoughts then?
Really intriguing.
It's interesting.
I loved it.
Yeah,
It's
really liked
so
it.
it's so on the money of what is happening in today's society. I'd say that is I've seen so many similar things that have just brought up all of that, and I think that really in 5-6 minute documentary condenses it all down into one thing. And I think it had a really good range of people that you
I was
interviewed.
going to say that as
Really
well.
good range of people. The people on the forefront, the models, and then the
Yeah.
photographers who do it, and then doctors and surgeons who can do it. I think it was really good.
Yeah, like all the different scenes as well, so it wasn't just taken in one particular place, so like the outdoor filming and
I think it raises a lot of questions, because I'd quite like to go back to that plastic surgery man and kind of perhaps question a little bit about, again, what he's doing. The idea that you can feel better if you have your boobs made bigger. I'm still not convinced about that argument. But the photographer, again, you'd want to question him, saying, well, as long as we all know that it's pretend, then that's fine then, isn't it? Because we should just be educated that the fact that these pictures aren't real. I think that's a bit naive saying that it's clearly, if we all knew that, then we wouldn't feel any pressure. I don't think that that's an easy solution either. So probably their views are interesting, but it would make you want to talk about it more rather than just accepting what they say.
I agreed with him what he was saying, and I was thinking the same as you about if there was some sort of logo that showed you what had been done. But I also think there should be more images of normal shapes and sizes and normal skin tones.
Isn't ASOS now
Yeah.
that they've showed women
Yeah.
with stretch marks, with black
Yeah, they do
blemishes?
stretch marks, and
Yeah.
they do like different models. Like they do bigger models for different clothing as well.
I think it's getting there. There was one in, I think it was France now, that you have to be over a certain size now.
Well, the model's perspective was very interesting on that, saying even they
Yeah.
don't even believe the card, and then they're measuring her ankles. You think, really, does ankles make any difference?
And the fact that she was
showing
so
the
young as
clothes?
well was,
Yeah.
I mean, that was like very powerful to hear as well.
Obviously, her view is that's speaking one from like millions of people who do it. So knowing what her view is like, is you just know that everyone's going to be pretty much exactly the same, maybe even worse. I just think it's.
A documentary, gives you information and facts, but it should also make you think. And what we're all doing now is talking about what we saw and what another view. So it's done.
Something like that, so because that could create a discussion from us.
Yes.
You could discuss this for hours,
Mm.
hours
It's
and hours.
social interaction.
Yeah, it has completely.
I like the way you showed the images of you guys on your phone looking at the pictures whilst
Yes.
all these discussions were going on, because that was just looking how it is in real life that people see these pictures rather than behind the scenes. That's how it is actually used and seen by young people, so that was a nice way that you interposed that as you went along.
And that was probably just one person's account, and you could just see alone on that account how many photos there actually are of just that girl and her body.
My favourite bit though was when you had just normal people of all ages talking to each other, and the affirmation they gave each other and the compliments, and you're thinking actually that's the crux of it. If we spoke more, if we actually boosted people into how they're looking and gave more compliments, and then people would be less maybe less self-conscious. And
That bit was a bit emotional.
that was lovely. It was lovely. Yes, yeah.
Especially because you could tell they didn't really know each other as well, and the fact that straight off they could just say something so nice, it just shows that anyone can do it.
I think it was so quite adorable to see that as a society we're not very good at taking compliments. So when sort of like you've got really straight teeth, and that one was sort of like, oh.
Yes. And also the fact that even the older women, that they still feel self-conscious, or it's still nice to hear something.
But I guarantee if you did that with a group of models, they would still say the same things. I'm too short, I've got too big boobs, my feet are too big. And you go, but they're the people who are being shown to us, society, this is what you are striving for, this is what all of the clothes are made for, this is what all of this is, we've designed it around these people, and if you don't fit into that box, they won't fit you, they won't suit you, you will look rubbish. And it's interesting that would work with normal people and these sort of elite people that we put on a pedestal to be them.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We did a questionnaire last week just to a few people, and again there was stuff about the font. So did you like the font used in that as well?
Yeah.
The mirrored font, as in from your poster, still not sure, not quite sure. I don't know.
I'm not sure it needed it, because on the poster you can understand it, but you had a great image of a mirror.
The images were brilliant at the beginning.
So I sort of was like, well, you don't need a mirrored. If you see what I mean, you don't need a word saying mirrored that's mirrored.
Yeah.
Well, you could just have it very clean.
There was a lot of mirrors involved.
Well, so I didn't see the initial part perhaps, but I thought that the logo, I don't know if that's what you call it, but was clever because the mirrored image was slightly distorted.
Yeah.
I think maybe it just needs to be a bit smaller. It was just very, again, a bit like a Hollywood, like, woo.
And the writing that comes up in your actual documentary, the background may be a bit darker because it was white writing with like
and
just
a light
off-white
background,
so you could read
I
it.
could-
that might be my
a little bit
but
quick.
I had my glasses on.
I think the second one went by a little bit quick.
Okay. After watching it, do you feel like you're more aware of things about Photoshop and how people feel, and like the information that was given in the documentary?
I mean, I knew there was Photoshop, but I feel like hearing a doctor's perspective on it was definitely something you wouldn't have heard before.
I'd agree. Kind of just to remind what's actually happening. So I think we always think about it throughout the day, but not physically sit down to think about it when watching something pretty much exactly on it.
Yeah, it focuses your mind on,
Yeah.
onto it,
Yeah.
but there might be ideas that we'd thought about before, but
I think you
As
always
with the
forget
older
about it.
ladies, we probably
Yes.
thought about a lot about this, but I didn't realise they had little cards with measurements that they had to
Yeah.
take along and then would be measured. I thought that was so extreme. That was
Yeah, that
something
was
I
new
did
to me as
find.
well. Especially like measuring ankles, I never
Yeah.
thought that would be a thing.
Do you think it's good that we're informing young people so that they don't compare themselves to an unrealistic image?
Definitely.
Oh, it's
But I think it's important to
very
keep
important.
reminding them, because I'm sure we've all seen, you know, these videos where you've got sort of like a normal woman, an average woman, who gets photoshopped so much that the end image is literally half the person she has been, but you still you know it's happening, and you know that 90% of these images in magazines are not real images, but you still forget it, and you still
so
go,
it needs to be reminded.
why
It's
does my
good
skin
for
look like that? Why is
PHSE
it?
to show students about that again, because that would spark discussion and why all these things happen.
Yeah,
And if you
maybe,
did, sorry.
sorry, maybe just put like someone who doesn't know anything on it, like in the documentary, and ask them the same questions you're asking the model, and see how little people actually know on it, to give people a bit of perspective.
I was going to say, if you did use it in a school situation or with youngsters, then it would be lovely to finish off with that same situation where you're getting them to say something nice about each other.
I would say one thing though, that was very, and I understand sort of the market you're going for, and it's more of a female market, which is completely you know, that's what you expect, but it is affecting boys as well. You know, I can't remember who said this the other day. Someone in swimming, and it was just a little boy who was a little bit bigger than the others, and he was sort of, he didn't want to take his towel off, and I was like, this is like a junior kid boy, and you forget that it affects boys, because still in all these sports magazines it's men with bulging muscles, and you go, how many people do you know that walk around with a rippling six-pack? You know, it's not many in sort of what people walk around. So I would say that maybe it was very focused on women, which is understandable, but if it was taken as a school concept, you'd
What about the boys?
Even
What
if
about
you
the
just
boys?
put a shot in of a guy on a phone
Yeah.
just looking at pictures of men.
Yeah, make sure it is focusing on men though, if he's going to look at his phone.
rather than
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
If you're just going to have a shot of like, if you're going to
And finally, do you think that all three products like link together quite well?
Yeah, definitely together.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool, we're done.
You can't finish.